Good morning. This is another edition of Sansolo Speaks, and KC mostly listens. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing fine, Kevin. You're actually going to listen today?
I am going to listen. I
All
always,
right. Well,
I always listen. I just sometimes I talk more than I listen, and that's not a good
we're
habit.
breaking new ground, people.
Anyway, the reason we're doing this instead of a regular column this week is because I wanted you to talk a little bit about your role in the technology track that we're going to be doing at the National Grocers Association show in Las Vegas on Sunday, March 10th. We're going to be there. We've got 3 different things going on at various times, as well as some general sessions, plenary sessions, whatever you want to call them. And basically, your track is called Revolutionizing Operations Through Technology. And you're basically going to be doing 2 20-minute sessions focusing on different parts of how technology can affect operations. And I want to start with the one, I'm fascinated by this because labor is obviously such a big issue for everybody. And you're going to be talking about how there are these companies out there who are helping retailers redefine how they get and keep workers.
And Kevin, let me just say, for the morning newsbeat audience, Kevin is the one who designs the technology track and has done a great job with this. I'm very excited about the groups I have because we're going to be working on 2 things. One of the panels is going to be dealing with things, products that are in stores, and the other, obviously, as you just said, people. And what we're going to discuss on that panel is how do we better use technology to manage people in a time when, and everyone knows this problem, it's harder than ever to find people and retain them. So in one of the sessions, and this is really exciting stuff, the gig economy is now an issue for retailers because the gig economy competes with you for your workers. It offers them all kinds of control on their schedule, flexibility. And one of our panelists has an app that will help you use technology to manage people's schedules so that your workers can fill out their schedule the way they want to. Very much in line with what they can do on DoorDash or Uber Eats. So it'll make you more able to compete with folks. The other part of that session, it deals with the whole bit of attraction of how do we communicate to the potential workers out there? How do we talk to them to give them reasons to come work at a retailer, help orient them? Because so many of the problems that we're having with labor these days, and I've written about this recently on Morning Newsbeat, is how we communicate to our workers, that we've got to give them the information that helps them get up to speed fast, enjoy the job. And so I think what people will get out of that session is there are tools they can easily access. Right now, they exist that will help them deal with the modern challenges of attracting and retaining labor. And that's an issue everybody's got. So I think the NGA audience will love it.
Well, I mean, and clearly, I mean, I think the whole issue of labor is such a challenging one for so many retailers, but especially on the independent side, because they just tend to have fewer resources than bigger companies. And as the bigger companies get even bigger, it's going to create it's going to pressure them even more. It's going to squeeze them a little bit more.
And one of the issues, independents always have a little bit of an advantage in that because they may be running a 2-3 store company, they can know their people better. But right. Technology is enabling large companies to have that kind of relationship. So for independent operators, they've got to be up to speed on the technology just to have the table stakes necessary to play in this new world. And I think that's what they're going to hear a lot of in this session.
Well, and I'm sure you've had conversations like this with independent retailers too, right? So they have workers that they've had, let's say, working for them for 10 years, and they've given them promotions and they've given them raises, and they've allowed them to be creative in a way they can't be at a big chain. But then the person leaves because, frankly, the big chain, they could offer them more money. And they have bills to pay. They have mortgages, kids going to school, whatever, colleges to pay for. So, the lure of more money is always there. And inevitably, after they've gone to those big companies, they come back and say, oh, man, I didn't even realize how much creative freedom I had at the independent when I made the decision to go. But at that point, they've gone. So anything independents can do to sort of level the playing field, especially if you're being able to kind of use some of the mechanisms of the gig economy to allow people to set their own schedules, allow people, to become like, in some ways, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, is an advantage, it seems to me.
Well, and you're making a great point. And let's be honest, there are some chains, the chain managers in particular, who do a great job of empowering their people, and there are independents who do a poor job of it. I think what is going to come through in the technology track this year is technology has changed everything. Like this study we recently did on the Coca-Cola Retailing Research Council is dealing with what's different differently. And it was one retailer who said, this has always been a problem, but somehow it's gotten worse. Everything has changed. And a lot of that is because of the pandemic. A lot of it is because of technology. And so we have to recognize that even if you've been great at attracting your people and keeping your people, you're now dealing with people who can get up in the morning and say, I don't feel like working today. They want to think like a gig worker. Or maybe I've got bills to pay. I need more hours. I'm going to do a side hustle with DoorDash or Uber Eats or Lyft or whoever it might be. So your ability to have technologies that put you in that game can make you much more capable of both attracting and keeping the really good people. And it's just table stakes have changed. The world that was is not the world that is. And that's why I think this entire technology track is so important, because this is about the world that is.
Yeah.
And we're
Talk
not
a
going
little
back.
bit. Talk a little bit about the other session you're doing, and it's 20 minutes on the role of AI, and if you can't knock out that in 20 minutes, I mean, how complicated can it be? But talk a little bit about what you're going to be focusing on in that session.
And it is interesting because as I've talked to all the people who are going to be in the various panels, AI hangs over everything at this point. Everybody would love to have the 5-minute lesson on AI that makes them perfect. AI is a tool, and all technology is a tool. So for instance, we've got one company that's going to be talking about reverse logistics. What do you do when products get recalled? How do you properly handle that? And again, AI can help you there, but a lot of it is human intelligence. We also have a company who looks at how you build your ads, whether they're circulars online, however you're doing them. And as the person who's going to be speaking said, human intelligence is the key. Human intelligence to know your customers, to know your area, so that you're marketing the right goods in the right way. But AI can make human intelligence, it just supercharges it. So I think what folks in the audience are going to get is they know a lot. I mean, good independent operators, they know their market, they know their products, they know what people want, but they have to understand that technology is a tool to supercharge their efforts. And in many respects, artificial intelligence may be just the best tool we've ever come up with. And how are we going to use it so that we are as effective as we can ever possibly be, certainly with the technologies we have today. No doubt in 3 years, it'll be something else. Yeah. But this is where we are today. It's got to be understood.
And then the third, you mentioned 2 panels. The other one is actually using AI to figure out in stocks in fresh department, perimeters of stores, which I thought.
And again, that's all about product management of how, it's all about ordering. It's all about turnover. And again, AI can be a great tool to help you understand movement and react, because obviously what every retailer would love is to have the exact right amount of product on the shelf at any given moment. So you're never out of stock, but you're never overstocked. Yeah. And again, using AI, you can manage so much more data, so much more intelligence, that perhaps you're never going to get perfect on this. Let's be honest, but maybe you get closer to perfect. Yeah. And that way, what we always look for technology to do are increase sales or reduce our costs, so we increase profit. And I think what folks will get out of these sessions are ways to increase sales or reduce costs, and that gets you to the bottom line you want to have.
It's funny, just on the subject of AI, I saw a great line the other day, which referred to AI as Ozempic for senior executives. It allows them to cut costs, right, in a way. Like, in other words, you still need people, but it does allow you to cut costs in ways that are really, really effective down the road. But of course, like Ozempic, once you're on it, you probably have to stay on it for the rest of your life.
And Kevin, you know what? That's a great metaphor, because people, the way we talk about Ozempic now, it's like, it's a miracle. It'll solve all the problems. And it won't, because I'm sure doctors are saying to patients who are on Ozempic that eating properly, exercise, a good lifestyle is still essential. And when it comes to AI in any business, you're still going to have good business values. You're going to have to know your customers, your products, and AI may simply be a way to be better.
Yeah.
It's not going to turn you from being lousy into being great overnight. You're going to have to do the basic blocking and tackling well.
Well, listen, I'm really excited. It's going to be 2.5 hours. I think it's going to be really stimulating, really interesting. Lots of time for Q&A. We've built a lot of stuff in, so it's going to be terrific. It is Sunday, March 10th from 10 to 12:30 at the National Grocers Association conference. And I haven't publicized this yet but I'll break a little news right now, right? Which is on Saturday night, you and Tom Furphy are going to hang out in Margaritaville together, and we're going to have a beer or a margarita, right? And so we'll probably get there around, I don't know, 6 o'clock, something like that. We don't have a room reserved. It's going to be very casual. It's going to be a little crazy. But listen, anybody who wants to come and join us and have a beer or buy us a beer, I'm always willing to be bought a beer. That'll be great. And I'll post it again on Morning News Beat. But hopefully it'll be fun. It'll be, again, it's always great. I know you feel the same way. But since we were not able to go anywhere during COVID, I really treasure these moments, right?
I do too.
They have meaning that they didn't, they were important, but they're really meaningful now. So hopefully we'll get a chance to see a lot of Morning News Beat readers.
We want to see them Sunday morning, obviously, for the sessions, but it'd be nice just to raise the toast Saturday evening.
Absolutely. All right. Michael, as always, see, I listen a lot.
Sometimes.
Hey, everybody, we'll see you next time.
All right, Kevin, I guess I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I'll see you in Vegas, week and a half.